Hi, I'm Ariadna Arredondo from The Always Believer from Lateena Podcast and Poe Myers. Now, how does being Hispanic affect my business and how do I use that in my business? Where do I even begin? Being Hispanic for me, or being Latinx, first of all, it means community. It means that someone out there, no matter if it's one person or a million, can understand me to some extent, shape, way, and form. It means that through my business, no matter what I do, I've gone from literally anything between when it comes to wellness for the mind, body, and soul. I started a movement called Go to Fly, which means overcoming struggles and uplifting stories to motivate one another. And it's been shared all around the world, not only in our Latinx community, but I do feature quite a few people from our community. This is because I love the idea of community. I love the idea of community, over competition. I love unity. I feel like the world's divided enough already, so when I bring my game, when I bring my Hispanic heritage, someone out there, even if it's only one person, can be like, yo, she looks like me. She talks like me. And look at her go. And this goes vice versa. The moment that I see someone who looks like me, who talks like me, with my random Spanish in between my words, and my lack of maybe a complete vocabulary in English sometimes, or even in Spanish, I feel seen and heard and represented. I feel strength and courage and bravery. Bringing the whole Hispanic into my niche has opened the doors for me in ways that I wouldn't even imagined before. When I first originally started The Always Believer, I started about 7 years ago. I was still living in Spain. I was still figuring out life. As always, I feel like we're always figuring out life. But more so, I really wanted to show up for myself. I had a really tricky childhood and teenagehood, and I was like, that's it, right here, that's enough. I want to start writing about it. I want to start reaching out to people who have gone through the same things I've gone through, and know that also I'm not alone, through therapy and a million other things, of course. So, point being, when I started The Always Believer, it's international, of course. Everyone's welcome, everyone's invited. And fast forward to this year, I started a podcast called The Always Believer Podcast with our very special movement, Go to Fly. And I just started knocking on doors. And the doors that opened up the most are Latinx, are Hispanic, are people who look like you and me, people who feel the same way like you and me, people who vibe, who are passionate like you and me. And for me, that's something really special. I feel like if we can come all together and make more noise and stand up for one another on a constant basis, we can become even more powerful. So bringing, if you see any of my profiles, if you see my personal profile, you're going to see my Venezuelan flag. You're going to see Latinx. If you see the Lateena podcast, it's in its name, It means so much to me to be able to niche down, I want to say, if you want to say that, towards the Latinx, Hispanic world. It makes me proud. As a person who was born in Venezuela, and then I was raised in the States, and then I moved to Spain, half of my life in US and half of my life in Europe, it's wonderful, and I've gone through ups and downs, of course. However, there was a part of me that was missing. Venezuela, I really didn't visit it. Anytime someone asked me about, oh my God, did you go to so-and-so place? Did you do this? Did you do that? I'm like, I was a kid, and then I moved. Having this particular community now through The Always Believer and the Lateena podcast and Poe Myers, oh my goodness, all the creative people that I found in the Latinx community through that profile as well, and what I do there is just outstanding. And it makes me feel like these are my people. This is what what I was looking for, and these are the people who like get me and understand that being bilingual is a superpower. And yeah, sure, we might mess up and we have a weird accent sometimes, but who cares? Like, we're, warriors and have so much strength. So what I do now with the Always Believer, are part of my movement. I'm a keynote speaker. I have tons of conferences and workshops all around the world, especially online, of course, currently. I'm writing books. I'm writing screenplays. I got the opportunity to be in Hollywood. That's thanks to I created the Lateena podcast, and I knocked on doors. And through that, my co-host, who is in Hollywood, we're creating it into something so much bigger than what it is right now. And that's all through that word, Hispanic, Latinx. It's all the same. It's all one. I know there's different meanings and whatnot, but that feeling that I'm really trying to make sure that you get through on the other side of the screen right now is that. So niche down, reach out. There's so many of us. Please, let's show up for each other. Please, let's, lift each other up. I don't care how small your account is or how big your account is. If we're all here to raise each other up, once again, we can become stronger. Somos mujeres poderosas, siempre, siempre, siempre. And we gotta look out for each other. So, yeah, of course I'm gonna put that on my feed. And of course I'm gonna, raise these people up. And of course I'm gonna say loud and proud, Latina poderosa, mujer poderosa. So, cheers to you. Cheers to all of you. My door is always open for absolutely anything. I would love to meet you all. Have a beautiful day. Bye.